We've got four.
Okay.
Yeah, we have four people, so. Okay, up next is the Neighborhood Grant Program Briefing. We have a presentation.
Yes, we do. Thank you,
Thank you,
Council
Kelly.
President Pavoni, council members, Kelly Beamer, the Community Services Administrator. I'm here with Carrie Nass, the Neighborhood Resources and Events Manager. And Dre Hicks, our Neighborhood Coordinator, could not be here today, so we are filling in his stead, and Carrie will be giving the presentation. But this is a briefing on the project grants. They've gone through the process. Council, as you saw in the memo, had approved the budget, but we go through the authorization portion now, but we wanted to brief you on the process and how well that went. So with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to Carrie.
Yeah, good evening. We'll make this fairly quick. We just wanted to give you an overview like what Kelly said about our process and kind of where we're at right now. So Dre and I have spent quite a bit of time doing outreach to engage our 82 neighborhood leaders to let them know about the project grants. You can see here we've done that outreach through our next door posts. Email reminders. We have an ongoing column in Renton City News where we highlighted the grant opportunity a few months back. We've done a few social media blasts through Facebook and Twitter. We had a grant workshop that some of you attended, so thank you. And that was a great success in getting the information out about our grants. And then we've had quite a few one-on-one meetings with at least 20 or more of the neighborhoods who wanted to delve a little bit deeper into what they could apply for and what to kind of throw their ideas around with both Dre and I. So due to that concerted outreach effort, you can see on this slide that we've had almost a double impact of grant applications coming in. So we were quite thrilled to see that we had 13. We looked at past data, and as you can see, last year, we probably shouldn't even count because that's when we didn't have a neighborhood coordinator for most of the year. So again, we were just happy that our outreach paid off to get more of the neighborhoods interested in applying for these bigger project grants. So our grant review committee met on Friday, April 21st. We had $84,000 allocated towards the project grant applications. Usually it's smaller, but last year, since we had that vacancy in the neighborhood coordinator position, we did have some carry forward dollars, neighborhood grant dollars to use. So we were happy that we had more to put to good use. We received 13 neighborhood applications, and on the memo that was sent to you on May 22nd, you'll see the list of all of the applicants. And I can pull that up if you guys need to review that again.
And it's also, excuse me for interrupting, also on the map that we placed in front of your chairs there, the little red highlights, that's where the grants would be kind of allocated out throughout the different neighborhoods in the city.
You'll notice one is a different color, so that was the one that the committee chose not to fund, and I can talk a little bit about why they chose that. But you'll see here we had a variety of different applications come in on public arts, culture, landscaping, beautification, neighborhood improvements such as playgrounds, one neighborhood event, and then 2 crime prevention public safety grants. This is a snapshot on where the grants came from. So you'll see our planning areas there: City Center, East Plateau, Talbot, Benson, Kennydale, Highlands. And Dre and I will be continuing to look at this to revise what we're doing and to further engage maybe some of the community planning areas that we didn't get as many grants from in future years, and for our current grants that are open.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ms. Press.
Go ahead, yes.
These are the applications that you received. Did you have one like that of the applications that you gave?
Yes.
The different numbers?
that's
Okay,
coming
thank
up, yeah. In East Plateau, you'll see there's a pretty big discrepancy there. And in looking at the neighborhoods in that area, there are quite a few more HOAs, homeowners associations, and so oftentimes it's easier for them to apply because they have a unified group already in place to do grant applications. So back in April, when we did our grant review process, we had each of the neighborhood applicants, their leaders, come and present to the committee. So they gave a quick 5 to 10 minute presentation on their proposal, and then followed up with additional 5-minute Q&A with our committee. Okay, and then prepping our review committee, these are the questions that we wanted them to consider and to kind of have in the back of their mind when they are listening to all of the presentations. So you guys can read a few of the through those. I won't read through all of them, but really we wanted to ensure that the grants would help build the neighborhood and build community as indicated here. This is our neighborhood grant committee, and so we just wanted to do a formal thank you for the individuals who spent an entire day with us. It went from about 9 a.m. to about 4 or 5 p.m. So it was a considerable amount of time that they had to spend, but we feel like it was important to get it all done in one day and also to have the neighborhood leads come and present their grant proposals in person. So now the interesting part. So this is who we funded. We're able to fund 12 out of the 13 applicants. We awarded $78,490 of the $84,000. And that remaining amount, about $5,000, will allocate towards our mini grants that are up to $500. Those can be used for smaller projects throughout the neighborhood. And then we're also putting some of that excess money into our neighborhood event grants. And neighborhoods can apply up to $1,000 for their event grants. The one application, that's Councilmember Perez that you had about one of the grantees that was not funded, that was Heritage Garden Estates. And due to feedback from the review committee members, they decided, number one, it was a potential public safety concern. They wanted to put in a new gate to kind of block out their neighborhood from the traffic flow. Their neighborhood, Heritage Garden Estates, is up on Renton Hill. And so there, excuse me, was some concern from the police officers and commanders on the review committee about public safety and access. And also they didn't have the allocated match in their grant application. We require all of the neighborhoods to have volunteer match, and they didn't have that.
Are they an established neighborhood, or are they part of Renton Hill?
They are an established neighborhood, a separate neighborhood, yeah. They currently have a gate, but they feel like it's an ugly one and it just doesn't fit the facade of their neighborhood. So they currently have that, and they were asking to create a nicer one. So there are a few different reasons why it wasn't chosen to be funded. For instance, they were going to have a little section for the neighborhood children to use going to and from the school bus or walking to school, but they would need to keep a key, and so that was a deterrent. It just wouldn't enable easy access for.
This is a street gate, or?
Yeah, it's the one, we could have pulled up a map. It's the one that's, I believe, facing the road that goes in between, what's that, Tiffany, not Tiffany
Well, I think,
Park.
isn't this the gate that is off the water line right away?
Thank you.
The Falcon Ridge.
Going into, no, at Heritage Gardens, it was the fire department required a secondary access.
That's correct.
That's correct.
And so it's a fire gate.
I see.
Yeah.
And what it is now is just a cyclone fence type gate that's chained, that the fire
Going out the
department,
back
if they
way.
had to come in the back way, they would cut the lock and come in. But you can easily walk.
Around it.
You can walk around some ecology blocks. There's like a path that lets the kids get.
Correct.
And a school bus comes, stop me when I get to too much information. But the school bus comes down from the south, down the water line right away to Philip Arnold Park, and pulls in and picks the kids up from Renton Hill and Heritage Garden. But because the buses won't run up on Renton Hill, the school bus will not come on Renton Hill. So the kids either transported up there by their parents, or some of them walk.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
I didn't know they'd asked for a gate, but there was a gate there but it sounds like they wanted to block off all access to a public street.
Yeah, and so for many reasons, including that major one, that's why the committee chose not to fund that one at all.
Okay.
So this is a graph showing how much grant money is going to the different community planning areas. And so overall, 3 of the applicants were new to the neighborhood program, so we feel like that was a great success, because that's our goal, is to further engage our 82 neighborhoods, not having the same 5 to 10 neighborhoods apply for grants and be engaged in the neighborhood program. And then 5 of the applicants are first-time project grant applicants, which is great to see as well, because it's not an onerous process in any means. And so now that they've gone through the process once, hopefully they'll come back year after year to apply for other project grants.
I think a lot of that's also due to the time that Carrie and Dre spent out in the neighborhoods, and also through all of our promotional marketing medias that really pulled the neighborhoods in. So they did a great job with that.
And then this is, again, it's just a graph indicating new applicants, applicants who had applied within the last 5 years and 5 years or more since the last application. So again, we want to keep our current neighborhoods that are applying for grants, engaging in the neighborhood program, but we definitely want to expand and grow, so we're reaching more of the city. So pending tonight's presentation, then we will notify the grant applicants tomorrow if they were funded or not. As you can imagine, since we met back in April, they're waiting on pins and needles and want to get going on their projects. Notifications will include reasoning for full funding, partial funding, or no funding at all, their award letter, and then next steps. So Dre and or I will meet with them one-on-one to go through what the conditions are of the grant. And then we'll pull in other individuals from the city as needed as their project relates to it. So we still have 2 other grants that are open, and they'll be open through probably the end of November. We have our event grants that are up to $1,000, and we've allocated $15,000 this year for the event grants, and then some of the unspent project grant dollars. We're currently promoting those through similar venues, social media, or What's Happening, City News, eBite, our citywide events, and our neighborhood program email list. To date, excuse me, these are the neighborhood event grants that we've received, and they're coming in on a weekly basis. And so as you were updated a while back, the neighborhood program last year moved from the picnics to larger scale city celebrations. And so one way to kind of fill that deficit is putting more emphasis on our neighborhood event grants. So with all of these, either Dre or I work with the neighborhood leads. They apply through the event grant application, but then we work with them to figure out, help them with the planning of it. And then if they want to have different city departments there, whether it's the fire department, community service, police department, then we're making all of those connections to make sure there's a large city presence.
This is something too that I think Dre had sent out through email, but Carrie mentioned as well that they are starting to come in a lot more rapidly, if you will. So we'll be sending out the current event to the council, a calendar of that, and as new events add, then we'll be updating the council on those as well.
And then on this next slide here are city-sponsored neighborhood celebrations, we're calling them. So we have the 3 picked out this year, and they're based on the community planning areas, and we'll rotate that on an annual basis. So the first one is City Center, so that incorporates North and South Renton neighborhoods, and then our core downtown area. That planning committee decided we want to do, or that they want to do, a music in the park. So we'll have bands, food trucks, games, all sorts of fun activities. And that one's Saturday, July 15th in the afternoon. The second one, August 24th, will be East Plateau. We're doing a screen on the green and bringing out our snow cone machine, popcorn machine. We're going to have a hula instructor there, so it should be a fun family night. And then the third one is with the Cedar River planning area. We're calling it Bark in the Park. So a fun dog event down at our Cedar River Dog Park, and that's in October. Dre and I have the honor of going later this week, Wednesday through Saturday, to the Neighborhoods USA Conference, where we're hoping to learn about best practices, get some new innovative ideas from other neighborhood programs throughout the country. And when we registered, we helped 2 of our local neighborhood associations apply. And I'm happy to say that the 2 that applied have made it to the finalist position for 2 of the 3 awards at the conference. So La Crosse, and 2 of the leaders will be joining us at the neighborhood conference this week. They are in for Neighborhood of the Year finalist for their Beehive project. And then Kennydale is nominated for Best Newsletter. So we will be sure to keep you updated on if they win. We'll find out, I think, the award ceremony Saturday morning. This is just a really quick update on our spring forum that we had about 2 weeks ago, and I know some of you council members were there, so thank you. We had about 90 of our residents from 27 neighborhood organizations there. You'll see the different partner organizations that we had. Topics were City of Renton updates, Renton School District's growth, and then transportation growth projects and changes. New this year, because we're wanting to incorporate and allow for more families to attend, and so we offered childcare. And so by doing that, we were able to see more younger families come and participate.
How many children did you have in the?
We had seven children there, and I was one of the lucky ones that got to play with the kids, so that was fun. These are some pictures from the neighborhood forum. And then some quotes as well. Dre and I both got quite a few emails a few days after the forum, so that was great that people took the time to thank us for the forum and to let us know how it benefited them.
Yep.
That is it.
Thank you. I think it was a great event, and but I also noticed that you guys were kind of keeping track of which neighborhoods the people. Did you have that information?
We didn't include that in the slides, but we can definitely send that to you. We did that more for our planning purposes too, on who we need to do more outreach to get to the next future forums.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that'd be helpful, we can definitely share that because we consolidated all of that.
Thank you.
Yep.
We actually have this on the agenda tonight as well.
Okay.
So for the council authorization for the spending.
Mr. McGurven has a question?
Not a question, just a comment. I just wanted to say thank you for offering the child care. My daughter was one of the kids that was there, and I know it helped younger families attend, so it was huge. So I really appreciate that the community services staff offering up their time to do that. The question I guess I do have that goes with that comment is, will this be available on a more frequent basis, day to day maybe? I don't know.
Today, I don't know.
My daughter didn't want to leave, so.
Yes, she was fun. She was a lot of fun. But at the fall forum, we'll offer
We'll put
it.
that in our
Yeah,
budget request.
Yeah, there we go. Part-time babysitter. Are there any other questions regarding the grants? And I hope you guys had a chance to review the grantees on the memo. If you haven't, definitely you can take a look at that.
Great.
Right.
We'll get
Thank
the
you.
updated calendar to you as well, and then also Councilman Perez's question, yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
Very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Presentation.
Great. Okay, we are adjourned.
All right.
That's why we stayed.